All right, so the unit that we're getting into is on congruent triangles. Congruent means what? The same. So they're going to be the same size and the same shape. And what we're going to focus on today and for the next couple of classes is which parts correspond, or meaning they match up. Which parts match up with what? Again, you're going to have to watch me point to it because geometry is very visual. It's very like, this is shapes and stuff. I don't have much of a better explanation than, hey, look, okay? So everybody look up here. And this is your symbol that means congruent, by the way. This equal sign with the little tilde over it, that means congruent, okay? A, B, C. Do you see that? Triangle A, B, C. Are we all on the same page? All right. Congruent to triangle JKL. So the order of the letters is how you tell what matches up with what. Do you see how A is first right here? And J is first right here? Those correspond or match up. A is congruent to J. You just take the first two letters, they match up. The ones in the middle, do you see how B is in the middle and K is in the middle? B matches up with K. So C matches up with which letter? L. Angle C is congruent to angle L. That's literally what we're going to spend a few classes working on, is what matches up with what, because you really can't do a problem with this until you can match the pieces together. Now, those were angles. Now we're going to do sides. Sides involve two letters. So that's a little bit more complicated, all right? Do you see how AB are the first two letters? AB, all right? And then do you see how JK are the first two letters over here? They match. Okay, good. Your head's nodding and you're saying yes. I got it, all right? BC, do you see how that's the second two letters? And then KL is the second two letters. That's how you match them up. You just look at what order these letters are in. Now, AC, do you see how that's the first letter and the last letter? So that's going to match with, good, JL. All you have to do is match them up. Sorry, that's a J and an L. My letters got connected a little bit, but JL, you're just matching them up. It's what matches up with what, all right? Here we're going to now put some numbers in the problem, all right? So we're going to find all of the missing angles. So Q, look in your statement. Do you see how Q is the letter in the middle? Cool. What is the letter in the middle in the other triangle? H. Do you see how Q matches up with H? Okay. So Q is going to equal whatever H equals. Those match up. Q matches up with H. Can you look in these triangles and find how much the measure is worth for angle H? Here, do you see that 50? Q is 50. And for good measure, you can go ahead and put that in the triangle as well. But you can't just come up here and start throwing letters everywhere. You have to go, this matches up with this. I know it seems very basic, but it's also really easy to mess up. So you got to pay attention, right? Now we're looking for R. Do you see how R is the third letter in the pattern? You see that? Okay, what's the third letter in this one? G. Do you see how R matches up with G? Okay, so measure of angle R is going to be whatever G is. Can you look in these pictures? Do you see how G is 70? Good job. All right, so R is 70, and for good measure, you can put that in the triangle. And what do you think these three numbers add up to? Perfect. So if you wanted to do that to check, you could do that. All right, last one, F. F is right here. Do you see how that's the first letter? All right, what's the first letter in the other one? P. Whatever P is worth, that's what F is worth, and P is 60. And you can put that in your triangle for F for good measure, just to like have it all filled in. Literally, you're just matching up which parts go with which. That's all that this is. Now, these are sides. Sides are a little more complicated than angles because it involves two letters instead of one letter, okay? So we're going to fill in the ones that are missing. Let's do this one first. Do you see how it's GF? Okay, so looking at our statement over here, G and F are the first letter and the last letter. Do you see that? Okay, so look at your other three letters, your other triangle. GF is going to match up with what? RP or PR. You can say it in whatever order, but it's the first letter and the last letter. Do you see that? GF or FG matches up with PR. Okay, look at your triangle. Can you find what PR is worth? Yeah. Do you see that right there? 12. So this one is going to be 12. The triangles might not look like they match up exactly. It might be rotated or something. It's, you know, sometimes they don't look exactly the same and the pictures aren't to scale. So you always have to go by your little statement here. All right, what's the other one we're looking for? The blank that's missing. H. No. Look where the blank is, where I'm pointing. HG is the one we're missing, or GH, whatever you want to call it. So look over here. Do you see how HG is the second two letters? Okay, so HG matches up with QR. Perfect. And you were confident when you said it. QR. Can you find what QR is worth? 14. So that's 14 right there. Nice job. You just got to match them up. All right. Down here, we're going to find R, F, and H. Oh, actually, I guess we have a bunch of stuff to find in this one. So let's see. R. R is the third letter in the statement. So R matches up with which one? G, which is 7. You guys were shouting the answer before I could even say it. So, and then I would just go ahead and put 70 where R is, just for good measure. I would just go and fill it in. All right. Angle F. F is the first letter in the statement. So that matches up with P, which is 65. Perfect. And then for F, I'm going to put 65 just for the sake of filling it in case I need that later. All right. And you can check to make sure it adds up to 180. Exact. Perfect. This is going so good. All right. H. H is the middle letter. So that matches up with Q. And I just need to find Q. 45. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 45 in where H is. Again, just, you might need that later. You're never sure. So I'm going to just go ahead and fill it in. All right. Then we got to do the sides. Sides are a little bit more complicated because they involve 2 letters instead of 1 letter. There you go. Thank you. So let's see which one we're looking for first. PR. Do you see where I'm pointing there? PR. Okay, so look at your statement. PR is the first letter and the last letter. So PR matches up with GF or FG. Okay, so can we find FG or GF? 23. Cool. So this one is 23. All right, QR. Let's look at our statement. QR is the second 2 letters. So that matches up with GH or HG, however you want to say it. So HG or GH is 30. And I even heard somebody say, what does the MM stand for? Do you know what that stands for? Millimeters. Super tiny. All right. And then the last one, FH. FH is the first 2 letters. So that matches up with PQ, which is 25. Beautiful. Nice. You guys got it. That's kind of it. We're like, if you just keep doing that on repeat and make sure you can practice it. All right. So putting in the vocabulary, I said this verbally already, but we're just going to like officially write it down. Congruent means same size and shape. And we're doing triangles. So the shape will be a triangle. And this is your symbol for it. It's an equals with that little tilde over it. That means congruent. So when you see that symbol, that's what that means. And I'm sorry, I'm just fixing attendance really quick. All right, and then what's that next one there? Corresponding. In your own words, if things correspond, then what do they do? Yeah, they're going to be equal and they're going to match up is what I would put. They're going to match up. And that's what we were just doing with all the problems on the other half of the paper, that we were finding the ones that match up with which they correspond. Okay. You guys were kind of doing it without, like, it's by instinct. You know what I mean? All right. This is a big acronym here with these letters. Corresponding parts, so the parts that match up, of congruent triangles are congruent. That is a really fancy way of saying what we just did over here. The parts that match up are equal. You get what I'm saying? Don't overthink that. It's just if they match up, they are equal. But here's the acronym for that. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. It's Cpctc. You're going to hear that a lot. And it is a fancy way of just saying the things that match up are equal. Okay? But if you hear that or see that written somewhere, it just means the stuff that matches up is equal to each other. That's all that means. Yeah, so like, yeah, that's, you're going to see that a lot. It just means the stuff that matches up is equal or congruent. All right. So let's match these up. And you can use this picture if you want, or you can even just look at the little statement and which letters go together. But do you see all these symbols over here? Let's just talk about the symbols really quick. Do you see the 1 tick mark, how they match up? And then the 2 match up? And then the 3. we all understand what that means, right? I don't have to explain that to you like you're 3 years old. Yes, we're good. Okay, the parts that match up. And then same thing with the angles. This has 1 tick mark. This one has 2. Again, you kind of don't even need the picture. You can just, look at this statement right here. A matches up with which letter? P. So angle A and angle P match up. If you want to work ahead of me at this point and fill them in, just make sure your answers are correct, right? B matches up with what? Q. And then angle C matches up with R. And I'm saying matches up with, but it means corresponds. They correspond. That's what match up means, right? So we matched up all the angles and put our angle symbol in there. Sides, again, a little more complicated because it involves 2 letters instead of just 1. So let's do AB first. AB is going to correspond or match up with what? Yeah, PQ. It's the first 2 letters. So AB and PQ. All right, and then what's another one? What would like the next one be? Yeah, BC is the second 2 letters, and that matches up with QR. Beautiful. And then the last one, AC, good, the first and the last letter, and then PR. Lovely. All there is to it. This is going so good. And I'm really happy this is going so well for my recording. That makes my recording turn out very, very good. All right, so here we're going to just match these together. We're just going to draw lines between them. Again, do you see how the triangle is rotated? They might not look exactly like they match up, so you sort of have to just trust the process. A, do you see A right here has 1 little tick mark on it? Which one in the other triangle has 1 little tick mark? Z. A matches up to Z. We're just going to draw a line between them. I feel like this reminds me of, like, those little kid game puzzles where you like draw the lines between them and match them up. All right, B, do you see how that has 2 little tick marks? So that's going to match up with which one over here? Y. Perfect. B goes with Y, and then C goes with X. So I kind of made a cool little snowflake symbol there. All right, letters a little hard, or sorry, sides are a little harder because they have 2 letters. AB, so look at that one. I'm pointing to it. AB has 1 little tick mark. So that's going to match up with which one over here? Yeah, ZY or YZ. Okay, so AB goes to YZ. And then BC has 2 little tick marks. So XY, perfect. So BC goes with XY. And then AC has 3 little tick marks that goes with XZ. Now we're going to make our congruence statement, okay? Triangle, so draw a little triangle. ABC. So triangle ABC, and you're going to put congruent, which is that little equals with a tilde on the top of it. And now match them up. Triangle what? You just have to get them in the right order. A matched up with Z. Good, perfect. B matches up with Y. And then C matches up with X, or corresponds. I should say corresponds instead of matches up with, but it means the same thing. This is going great. Love it. All right, go ahead and flip over. I'm going to just keep on going because I have everybody's attention, and I was thinking brain break, but we're good chugging along, so I'm going to just keep on going. So fine print on this one. Do you see how it looks like they match up? Like this one matches up with that one, matches up with that one? You can't trust that. Sometimes they're rotated, and sometimes the picture doesn't look like it should, okay? You have to always go by this statement, right? ABC matches up with DEF, matches up with GHI. Even if it doesn't look like it, this is what you have to go by, okay? We're given, what does perimeter mean? Yeah, like if you add them all up, if you add all 3 sides together, of GHI, which is this one, is going to be 32. Let's go ahead and link them up. Right here, do you see how we have AB? Okay, that doesn't necessarily match up here. Of course it can't because it says that's 7. So you need to go by your statement. AB matches up with what? DE. AB, and whoever said that over there, you're correct as well. We're going to just do all of them. AB matches up with DE. So this is going to be 11 right there. And then AB also matches up with what in the third triangle? Yeah, GH. So GH is also 11. Now I need this third side, this IG or GI, GI is going to match up with what? Look at where I'm pointing. G is the first letter, I is the last letter. It'll match up with DF. So DF is worth 7. So that's going to be 7. Now, how could I get X using what they told us? These should all add up to what? 32. So if you do X plus 7 plus what? 11 is going to equal 32. So let's just work that out by hand. That's not that hard. 7 plus 11 is 18. And then what would you do to both sides to like finish it up? Yeah, subtract. So what is that, 14? 14, thank you. Not that you couldn't use a calculator. I just don't feel like getting out a calculator. Okay. So let's try this one. Again, you can't go by necessarily what it looks like. You have to go by this statement. ABC congruent to EDC. We want to find measure of angle E. So this is our goal, what we're trying to find. You have to use what they gave you, though, and that's missing. So I'm going to kind of ignore that for a second and just look at what else is filled in. Do you see how this is 90? Okay. So perfect. Thank you. Before I could even ask, that means that side's 90. Does it look like 90? Not really. And we need the phones put away. Okay, but you have to just trust the process. Now, how could I get A? A is also missing, but how could I get it? So it is, but I would add these two together and subtract from 180. Let's see if we can do it without a calculator. 90 plus 20 is 110. 180 minus 110 is 70. Okay, so let's stop, take a look at what we found. We're trying to find angle E. Look at your congruence statement. Do you see how E matches up with A? E matches up with A, and we just found A is 70, so our answer is 70. Sometimes you just have to take what they gave you and kind of see where it leads you, okay? Like they gave me this 90, let me see where else I can put 90. All right, here's our congruence statement. Even if the triangles don't look that way, that's what we have to go by. Find X. So let's see, I've got angle D labeled here with this 10X plus 7. What does D match up with? A, do I have A? No, okay, so back to the drawing board. Let's see what else I can match up. What else did they give me? Well, they gave me this 29. That's angle F. What does F match up with? C, cool. So I can put 29 in there for C. And then what can I do to get A? I'm going to add, now I am going to use my calculator for that because I don't want to mess it up in my head. I'm going to add what? 29 and 14, good. And then subtract from 180. I got 137. I just typed it into Desmos. That's not that hard. Now, what am I going to set equal now that I have that 137? Because I need to find X still. I'm going to do 10X plus 7 equals 137. So again, you sometimes have to trust the process. They gave me this number here. Let me see where I can put it. Okay, sometimes you can't jump straight to the answer. And we'll work that out by hand because that's not too hard. If you subtract 7, you're going to get 10X equals what? It'll be 130. And what's your last step there? Yeah, divide by 10 and we get 13. Perfect. If you divide by a 10, just remove the last 0 is all that you're doing. All right, last one. You guys are handling this so good. It says find the length of FE. So let's see where there's a whole bunch of stuff labeled and we're probably not going to need all of it. FE is right here. I need to figure out which other side FE matches up with. Don't go by what the picture looks like. It might look wrong. You always have to go by this statement. So FE matches up with CB or BC, okay? Which is which one? What is BC? The 3x plus 2. So how am I going to set up the problem? What is it going to look like? 3x plus 2, good, equals, beautiful. Do I need any of this? No, you don't need any of that. That's all extra information. So we're going to subtract over our 3x to get all the x's together. This one's just not that complicated, so I don't feel like pulling out the calculator for it. That's going to give us 2 equals what? Yeah, 1x, good. Minus 3, perfect. And then add 3, and x is 5. Hold on, did they ask for x? No. What did they ask for? FE. Okay, so you have to look back. FE is right here. How could I use this 5 and get the length of FE that they're asking me for? Put 5 where x is. Perfect. So it'll be 4 times 5 minus 3. Perfect. You jumped straight to the answer. Let me get everybody else there. What is 4 times 5? It's 20 minus 3, 17. So just make sure you read the problem.